Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lisa, Best Life Lee. Today I'm in the kitchen and I'm going to be baking up some fall pumpkin cupcakes and they look so delicious. And I'm getting the recipe from last year's Fall Harvest Entertain and Celebrate magazine. This was November 2020 when this came out. And I love to go back and look at magazines that I've gotten in the past. You don't necessarily have to invest in a bunch of magazines every year because I'm sure, well, if you're like me, you didn't get a chance to create all the recipes that were in these magazines. So the one that I'm making is a pumpkin spice cupcake with browned butter frosting. And here's a picture of what they look like. Yum. So, yeah, I'm just gonna bake these up. I have all of my ingredients already measured out and everything. And what it calls for is 3 cups of flour. It calls for 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin spice seasoning, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 cups of sugar, 4 eggs, 1 cup of butter softened, and 1.5 cups of pumpkin. This is basically 1 can of pumpkin. So I have my KitchenAid mixer. I'm going to mix this up. This recipe called for, these are cupcakes, so it did call for the cupcake liners. I didn't have any cupcake liners on hand, so I just buttered and floured my muffin pans, and I have 2 12 muffin pans, and this says it makes 24 cupcakes, so I'm ready to pour those in there. I have my oven preheated at 350, so I'm just going to bring you down so that we can mix this all up and you can see how it comes together, and then we'll pour it into the muffin pans. So I do have a KitchenAid mixer. I don't use it very often, but in a situation like this, I will use it. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to mix the sugar and the butter until we have it nice and fluffy. So there's the butter, and this is at medium speed, and it says for about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm gonna get that done. And I'm going to put it on medium speed. So I'm just going to let that get fluffy. That's supposed to go for 3 or 4 minutes. And we're just going to let that keep going. And then I'm going to add the eggs one at a time and let it stir in the eggs. Alright, now I'm going to drop in 1 egg at a time. I just kind of have my eggs in here and I'm just dropping them in 1 at a time. It's making it very nice and creamy. So in another bowl, I'm going to whisk together my flour, my pumpkin spice. Get it all in there. My pumpkin spice, my baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and the salt. And we're going to whisk this together. So what we do is we put the speed on low and we gradually add in the pumpkin and the flour, and we kind of alternate. No, we don't kind of, we alternate in between the flour and the pumpkin. And now I'm going to beat in the vanilla. And I'm going to have to give this a little taste. I just have to. You know, it's got that pumpkin taste and it's not overly sweet, so that's good. So I'm going to take my thing here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a spoon, just sort of spoon them in, and I'll bring the camera down so you can see me filling these up. This looks beautiful. So I'm just taking a large spoon and I'm just going to fill them about 2/3. Alrighty, so I have my 24 muffins. They're gonna go in the oven at 350 for about 25 minutes. Then I'm gonna let them cool. In the meantime, I'm gonna make the frosting because that has to go in the fridge. Yeah, so what I have to do with the butter for the frosting is I have to cook the butter until it becomes like a medium brown color, and then I'm going to pour it into a bowl through a sieve, and then I have to let it stay in the fridge for about 45 minutes. So I'm going to let that be in the fridge while these are cooking, but I'll take you over to the stove and show you how I make the browned butter. Alright, I'm cooking this over medium heat, and I'm going to melt the butter until it's a brown and has a nutty flavor. Alright, it's supposed to have like a nutty flavor. And it does, and it's like a golden brown, so I'm going to say that this is just done. See the color of that? See the color's nice and brown, so I'm going to shut that off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pour it into a little sieve. Alright, so I have my brown butter, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in the fridge and let that stay in there for about 45 minutes till the end when I'm ready to beat the frosting and frost the cupcakes. So I will come back when I'm ready to start beating the frosting and frosting the cupcakes. Alright guys, so my butter has been in the fridge for 45 minutes, and I forgot to mention that they said to stir it twice while it was in the fridge. So I did I started at 15 minutes and then I started at 20 minutes. And then I put it in for another 15 and that gave me the 45. Now this is what it looks like. And it's, you know, it's kind of, it's not really too stiff, but it's definitely got its nice brown consistency. And what I'm gonna do now, so what we do is we now put it into the mixing bowl, we mix it, we beat this until it's nice and creamy, and then we gradually add in the confectioner's sugar and the milk. So there, it calls for 4 to 6 tablespoons of whole milk. Now I don't have whole milk, I have 1% whole milk, so I am going to use that instead of the whole milk. It should be fine. And I will do 6 tablespoons, but then we'll just see how the consistency is. Oops, I better give her a chip. All right, so I'm just gonna put my milk in here and then we will pour it in as needed. 1. And obviously I was kind of, you know, not careful with my my tablespoons, but I'm only gonna add in as much as I need to get it to the consistency that I'm looking for. And my cupcakes have been cooling on the rack. They're nice and cool. I can definitely frost them. So we're going to take this off of here. I'm gonna get my butter into my mixing bowl, and I'll put the camera down a little so you can see what's happening. All right. All right, so this is going to be beaten at medium speed. All right, and then I'm gonna start adding in my confectioner's sugar. Put this down a little bit so it doesn't fly everywhere. All right, so I think this is the best consistency, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna beat in some pumpkin spice, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin spice. All right, take a look at this. I think it looks perfect. All right, and I have to give it a little taste. I'm just gonna touch the top here where it's not gonna come in contact with anything. It is buttery and nutty and spicy, like pumpkin spicy. Sweet from all that confectioner sugar. Tastes like frosting. Alright, so now I'm gonna get these pumpkin cupcakes frosted and we will give them a taste. I'm going to taste this one right now. I'm just going to cut my muffin. Ooh, isn't that beautiful? Yum. So I'm just going to give this a little bit. I'm going to cut another little tiny piece off here. And I'm going to give this a taste. It just, the pumpkin cupcake looks so good. It's really, it's a little bit dense, but not crumbly. It's not overly pumpkin-y. It's really nice. It's not sweet like a cupcake would be. I can definitely taste the pumpkin. I could eat these without the frosting. They taste really good. They're kind of like a pumpkin bread, and you have that nice pumpkin spice taste, but again, not overly done so that you feel like, you know, you've got too much pumpkin. I could definitely eat these without the frosting, but the frosting is what makes it like cupcake. Because frosting is, you know, these are nice because they're not overly sweet, but they're sweet enough with the frosting. Yeah, I'm loving this. So, pumpkin spice cupcakes with brown butter frosting. A sweet success. What I'm going to do is I'm going to frost all these. I'll show you a picture at the end of them all frosted. But well guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this little fall baking video. Pumpkin spice cupcakes. They're so delicious. They were not too difficult at all. I had my mixer, so that made life easy, but you could definitely use a hand mixer. It wouldn't be too bad. So hopefully you will be inspired to do some other kind of baking on your own for the fall, whether it's cookies, bread, cupcakes, whatever it is, to just get your home smelling like fall, tasting like fall, and kind of getting you in that fall mood. So anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Hit that like button and don't forget to come back. So take care everybody. Bye for now.